Denise and I, and maybe Rick and Denise and I, are going to fight each other right now because there's a Steph Curry versus John Wall debate as to who is the better point guard. And context
might not all
is
be friends.
we can try to be friends, but this is gonna be tough.
Okay.
Steph Curry and John Wall point guard debate. Who is the better point guard? This is a very fun argument to have. It is all over NBA Real GM's forums, Reddit, of course the internet. But for some context, really quick, we'll read what Paul Pierce said, then what John Wall said, and then we'll see a video from how Steph Curry reacted. So first, we start with the truth himself. ESPN's Paul Pierce said this week that he considers Wall, quote, the best point guard in the league. Continues to say that on Isaiah Thomas.
Well, this was a few years ago.
Okay.
This was in
A few months ago.
yeah,
so he's changed. He's changing his tune.
Yes.
Every so often, but that's
Yes.
fine. Everyone's allowed to change their mind. I agree with that. Man, that boy Isaiah is killing. He's easily the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. Speaking of IT, and then there's one more Paul Pierce. I'm sorry, this is Dan Steinberg, writer from Washington Post. You talk about Steph Curry, the amazing things he's done, the three-point shooting, but I just look at the overall game. You look at the way Wall can score, the way he can pass, the way he can defend, top to bottom. I think he's the best point guard in the league. And then we'll move over to John Wall's two quotes, which I believe he believes he's not getting the amount of respect. They still don't respect me. Wall said when we sat down and asked him about his reputation nationally. This is coming from Sports Illustrated. And then lastly, John Wall jokes, let the season begin. The NBA is back, I believe, because he is not featured on said graphic, whereas Lonzo, who we got, KD, Kyrie, Dame. Nice. 13, that's
Steph, James
Chris
Harden.
Paul, I believe, on the, James Harden.
James Harden.
No head there, no headshot on that one. So, friends of mine, who is the best point guard between John Wall and Steph Curry?
I'm gonna go with John Wall. We talked about this off camera. I'm gonna go with John Wall. I was asked, I just had this conversation with one of my buddies between John Wall and CP3, and I love CP3. First of all, I think the point guard position is just one of the most difficult and one of the most important positions. And I feel like John Wall is better right now than CP3 and Steph Curry. Steph Curry is an amazing shooter, and like if you want somebody who can shoot from the perimeter or just put on points on the board, then he's the guy to do that. And he has his handles, he can facilitate plays, but I just feel that John Wall has better handles. He's faster. He's one of the fastest players. His speed is crazy insane. So speed is amazing. Handles are amazing. He plays solid defense. He's an explosive shooter. He can dunk with the left and the right. He's consistent, and most importantly, he's really good at facilitating plays and creating these really good looks for his teammates. So again, John Wall.
Hear you.
Over Curry.
I hear you loud and clear. Before we get into myself and Jason, let's see what Steph Curry had to say about
case.
Paul Pierce.
Good case. She made a good case.
And his comments, and then Curry reacting to the media.
Right now is the best point guard in the league. That register with you at all?
So none too
Steph
pleased.
Curry meant to say, I can't believe that they're making Kyrie Irving play on a court from 1940. Unbelievable.
Well played. All right, real quick. And then we asked all of you to weigh in. Go to our Twitter page, twitter.com/TYT Sports. Here were a few of your tweets. And then we'll get into myself and Jason's take. This is 32 through 37. So this is the question we asked. Stephen Curry, John Wall. Who do you got? So here we go. Les, obviously Moonbez, says 2 MVPs, enough said, but I do love Wall's game. All right, continuing. Connor says Steph is gonna be a Hall of Famer. Who the fuck do you think?
So is John Wall, but okay.
Yeah, by that standard. Bryce says John Wall, and it's not even close. But leave that tweet up for a second. Look at his handle.
Godfather Payne. These are good handles.
These are great handles. By the way, he's 6-1. He lost to me in FIFA.
I believe it's the Eagles record, correct?
Continuing. Are we in week 7 already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
that was
God.
fast.
Going into week 8. Yeah.
So Ethan said Wall plays the point guard better, but Steph is the better player. So Stephen Curry greater than John Wall.
The question is a point guard, so
right, the better point guard.
So he's going with Wall.
Yes, he is.
Technically, he is going with Wall.
Yes,
here we go.
Okay. Do we have any more?
It's a point
is
for
that
Wall.
it? All right, thank you. William says Wall, only thing Curry's better at is threes and handles. Wall can get to the hoop better, true, and has made the playoffs around him so much better.
True, also true.
Alrighty, do you have any more?
These are good points. They're all really good points.
Just so you guys know, I counted 4 for Wall and 1 for Curry. I was
Just so
keeping
you know,
tabs.
it was strategically placed by somebody.
Oh, was it on my side?
Denise and the Godfather Payne 6-in-1 army is coming after you.
Jason, who you got?
I'm gonna put it into the best context I can because I really do believe if you swap Steph Curry and John Wall's places, yeah, John Wall would be undoubtedly the better point guard because John Wall has played with worse players his whole career. Don't get me wrong, Bradley Beal, when healthy, can shoot. And if you look at the numbers, John Wall, because of John Wall, the Washington Wizards offensive rating is like top 7 in the league. It was, I think, top 10 last year in the league. And when we watched the John Wall versus John Wall through the playoffs last year, it was very evident. That's all the tape you needed, that John Wall was the best point guard in the Eastern Conference, unquestionably. If you're asking, though, who's the better point guard, the correct answer actually is John Wall, if you're gonna narrow it to the specific space of being a point guard. How the league has moved to, though, is point guards are shooting guards are point guards. So like while Chris Paul and John Wall, or I even think at times Mike Conley, are pure point guards, they're going to move the ball, they're going to move the offense, it facilitates with them. John Wall's gravity is not nearly the size, or at least the mass, I should say, of Steph Curry's. And the reason for that is twofold. One, John Wall doesn't have the options that Curry does.
Exactly.
So it's a testament to John Wall's game. And don't forget, scouts for years and years and years, his first 3-4 years in the league, what'd they say? John Wall is just fast, and that was never true. Just because he couldn't shoot didn't mean that his only skill set was being a slasher, and my God, is he damn good at that. So in the case of Steph Curry, when you have the options of, even let's remove the Kevin Durant equation. Let's just go to the 73 win Warriors. I think it's a more fair argument because the Warriors,
the 73.
just the Draymond
so
Green,
casual.
Klay Thompson. Well, they built that team,
I know.
so they deserve it. A deserved 73. But I want to use that example because Steph Curry in those 2 years, like the efficiency was through the roof. It was absolutely insane for any player to shoot the way he did. But the gravity alone, one of the things I alluded to in the Kyrie Irving clip is that Kyrie Irving isn't the best finisher at the rim in terms of actual numbers, percentage-wise. The degree of difficulty which he finishes is probably the hardest because, as we said, he makes shots go in like we've never seen. John Wall does this too. For many years, about 3 straight, Curry was the top finishing guard at the rim in the league, which is a huge testament to a guy who is not just someone who can shoot threes. So the better overall player, I think, is Steph Curry. The better point guard, just point guard, I believe is John Wall. I know that's the shittiest answer I could give.
Right.
I think Denise is right. It's the better point guard. So, yes, that's it.
Okay. I didn't catch where the out point of that was.
No worries.
So here's my thing. As I'm breaking this down and I'm thinking about it, the point guard position, as Jason said, has evolved greatly over the last not even few years, but many years. Back in the day, Bob Cousy would dribble out the ball, and we associated point guards with dribbling. Now it's associated, as he said, as it's evolved, with scoring. So it's completely subjective about how you view and what you want to take in a point guard. Some people are going to be very high on Stephen Curry, and I'm sure the millennial-based audience, because they view him as this generation's Michael Jordan, and that's totally fine and well. But it is a unanimous vote on this panel that the better point guard is John Wall. Now, the question is, if you put Stephen Curry on that Wizards team, would he be as effective as he was right now? Maybe from the one thing that we always default to, shooting the three, getting to the lane, making defenders look stupid, having the flashy passes. Maybe, probably, not so much on the last one because Jason and Denise alluded to. Who does he have around him that has been a great shooter? Jared Dudley, I didn't really see him in the playoffs. Otto Porter, or was it Otto? Not Otto Porter.
Kelly Oubre.
What's his name? I'm thinking of Otto Porter Jr. It's Michael Porter Jr. Otto Porter, who just signed a ridiculous contract.
But
Bradley Beal has been injured as well. Yeah, he's not worth 125 million or whatever, 115 that they gave.
A lot of these players are really not worth what they're.
Of course.
But that's not the argument.
But if we're talking about overall game of a point guard, and again, it's subjective to how you are, but I view it as the 3 essentials of scoring, passing, and defending. John Wall is better in 2 of those 3 categories to Stephen Curry, and that's just my own perspective on the point guard position.
I think they're actually a wash at defending. A lot of people never want to give credit to Steph Curry. He's not a good one-on-one defender. If you're asking one-on-one, John Wall is a better one-on-one defender.
Way better.
They have this. It's a wash on defending?
It's a wash on defending because Steph Curry is a better team defender than John Wall is. They have the exact same defensive rating. They allow the exact same amount of points career-wise. Per 100 possessions, 106.
Understood, but if you were to put, I know, but if you were to put John Wall on that team to take out the opposing team's point guard, and I know it's different because it depends on the matchups, but just strictly in this one scenario, you would rather have John Wall defending. Let's say 5 seconds left in the game, then you would rather have Stephen Curry, correct?
One-on-one?
Yes.
Yes, but that's just a vacuum case.
Well, not necessarily. Isn't the NBA built on a lot of isolation? Yeah, there's pick and roll, but in the last 5 seconds,
No.
You don't think so?
Only 3 or 4 teams are successful in isolation in the NBA. The most successful teams in the NBA, the Cavs were #1 in isolation last year, which is why they were able to, when you have a guy like LeBron James. The Wizards occasionally run a decent isolation system, but a lot of that too is revolved around Gortat. A lot of it's revolved around getting Beal open in the corner. A lot of it's revolved around how much can John Wall suck in the gravity of the other players around him to get his teammates open. But the most successful teams, the teams who have won championships, aside from the Cavs beating the 73-win Warriors for the last 6-7 years, have been non-isolation teams. The Spurs have broke the system.
Right, of course.
Of course, that's the example.
Yes.
But the Nuggets in
Always
there,
the example.
the Nuggets finished top 6 in offensive rating last year from not using isolation ball. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, 7 seconds less doesn't give you a second two.
My point was, if you were to have somebody who has to defend the opposing team's player in an isolation scenario, who would you rather have?
I'd rather,
would be John Wall.
of course. I don't mean to take your argument out of context. I just think that
you're not.
Overall, there's more to basketball than one-on-one defending.
Oh, of course.
And it's more rare that you're going to see a need for one-on-one defending, like when good offensive players find their mismatch. Technically, one of the guys who's really good at doing this still is Carmelo Anthony, because he is an isolation player. He is the utmost isolation player. So when you watch him get that mismatch, yeah, if I have to stick John Wall on him over Steph Curry, of course, if that's the mismatch, I'll take John Wall. But in the team defense aspect, it's one of the things that Curry is. There's a reason why Curry has an extremely high plus-minus when he's on the court in that lineup of death, and a higher one than that of Kevin Durant even at times, and Klay Thompson almost always. And Klay Thompson's the best one-on-one defender on that team at the guard position.
Yes,
Draymond
completely, which is why he's so valuable. There was also a good write-up in SB Nation, and I know that Coach Nick did this as well, about how Stephen Curry is really an underrated defender. People piss on him completely, but he is also protected by having a incredible defender in Draymond Green, and then also, of course, having Klay Thompson. And they've shown many times where guys will try to go backdoor, they'll try to isolate him, and Draymond will cheat over. And it just pretty much disrupts the entire offensive flow that the Golden State Warriors go up against.
But just to bring it down, like, I mean, we're saying that Wall is a better defender than Curry.
Yes.
There's no argument about that.
Yeah.
But going back to the initial statement that he's a better point guard, that's something you don't agree with because he doesn't have what?
Wait, that Wall is a better point guard.
No, we all agree. He's the better point.
We all agree.
Oh, okay, perfect. I thought that's what you were saying, that he wasn't a
Come
better
at me, bro.
I was really ready because in an email thread you said,
I know,
it's gonna be great, blah blah blah, hyping himself up. So
I
I'm
said
glad that we
until
all
it
agree. He has better handles. He has better handles, solid defense. I think it's
he deserves his credit. Like
and he's underrated.
Yes, absolutely underrated.
I'm sorry to do this, but I've lost count. Are we talking about Stephen Curry right
now?
John Wall. We're talking about John Wall.
The other thing too that I think a lot of people leave out of context in itself is like there's never been more amazing guards in the NBA than literally right now.
Absolutely.
Mostly because sure, LeBron James has been playing point guard for like 3 games, so that's a problem. That's a problem for literally everybody.
But ask The Miz if LeBron James is a point guard.
Right.
No, but he's right. There's
but Giannis, so I'm saying in the case of Steph and John Wall, like a lot of people we like to use the one-on-one, like who's the best one-on-one defender? I'm gonna be honest, the top 12 point guards in the league have no problem getting past the other top 12 point guards in the league. Yep. Who's your favorite point guard in the league?
Right now, it'd have to be John Wall.
John
Wall?
Then
after that, it would probably be, I'll go with Russ.
Yeah, Russ is fun.
I like
He's very
Russ.
fun. Who's your favorite player? That's what I want to know.
Overall?
Yeah.
Oh, that's playing right now?
Yeah, right now in the game.
Yeah.
Big question.
Yeah. He's the best one.
I
like
agree.
He's definitely, everyone's talked about it. He's an MVP candidate, but more than anything, that guy can actually play point guard too.
Yeah.
Like he can play point guard.
You remember a few years ago when Jason Kidd's like, yeah, we're gonna move him to the point, and everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm dead serious.
And he's sharpened his skills up so well. And I think what makes him just such a great player, and I know we're taking this off tangent, is just the fact that he knows anything. The only thing longer than his stride is his arm length.
I know.
Like, did you see the dunk that he did?
posted
Yeah,
somebody
he was
without dunking.
Yeah.
He took. I was showing.
If he would have made that dunk,
Against Aaron Baines.
That's a
it
world
would have
ender.
been the best dunk in over the decade, I feel.
My favorite thing is
probably.
when NBA
Is that
Twitter
good?
sees a dunk. John Collins almost did it recently too, and they said like John Collins, Giannis Antetokounmpo, add any player here trying to start world wars. It's like when they take off. I mean, like Giannis takes off. He took off from like just inside the paint, like just inside the paint. And if he was a way for him to get his 18 feet of wingspan down, he was going to dunk it from the farthest away the ball's ever been dunked.
Yeah.
And he's 23.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Just getting started.
Giannis is
23
fun.
is stretches. That's my favorite.
I agree with
Right
you.
now.
He's very fun to watch. All right, moving forward. Again, continue to send in your comments on Facebook and on YouTube Live. We appreciate you all joining us.